Warning: the following video contains disturbing material that may be inappropriate for younger viewers. Parental discretion is advised. Gerard John Schaefer was a vicious serial killer convicted of the murder of 2 teenage girls, but probably responsible for the slaughter of many more. While serving life in prison, he wrote disturbing fiction about sexual assault, murder, and his experience on living on death row. Whether his work was autobiographical or merely described the violent sexual fantasies of a demented imagination remains unclear. Schaefer himself oscillated between boasting about the body count of girls he has murdered and denying he was a serial killer. Today we will never know the exact truth about how many women he murdered, for he was stabbed to death in his cell by a fellow prison inmate in 1995. At the time, the mother of one of Schaefer's victims commented, "I'd like to send a present to the guy who killed him. I just wish it would have been sooner rather than later." G.J. Schaefer, as he was known, was born in 1946 in Wisconsin. Family life for the 3 Schaefer children was by all accounts a misery. His father was an alcoholic and a womanizer. The young Schaefer felt that his parents, especially his father, preferred his sister to him, and showed early signs of mental disturbance, tying himself to trees to gain sexual thrills, wearing women's underclothes, and fantasizing about dying. As a young man, Schaefer had tried various vocational jobs, but was unable to find work. He attempted to join the Roman Catholic Church as a priest, and then tried to become a teacher, but was unsuccessful in both fields because of his unbalanced personality. Schaefer married in 1968, but 2 years later his wife would divorce him, citing cruelty as the reason. He resolved to become a policeman and managed to find a job even though he failed a psychological test when he applied. He started well, but was fired when obtaining personal information on women traffic offenders and asking them out on dates. He relocated and found police work in Martin County, Florida, where he was soon in much more serious trouble again. Schaefer picked up 2 teenage hitchhikers, Pamela Wells and Nancy Trotter. He told them that it was illegal to hitchhike in that county, which it was not. He then drove them home and said that he would drive them to the beach the next day. The following day, he drove the girls to a swamp, drew a gun on them, and bound them to tree roots with nooses around their necks. They managed to escape and contacted the police. This time he was sentenced to a year in prison. While awaiting trial, he picked up 2 more hitchhikers, Georgia Jessup and Susan Place. He took them to the swamp, tied them to trees, and savagely attacked them. By the time their mutilated bodies were found, Schaefer was already in jail. When police searched his mother's home, they found items belonging to several more young women and girls that had disappeared in the area. Despite the mounting evidence that Schaefer was a maniacal serial killer, he was only charged with the 2 murders, those of Susan Place and Georgia Jessup. He was convicted in 1973 and ordered to serve 2 life sentences, which was more than enough to make sure that he would no longer be a threat to the public. For this reason, no other charges were brought. For almost 2 decades, Schaefer languished in jail, more or less forgotten by the rest of the world. It was only when the collection of his stories was published under the title Killer Fiction that his heinous crimes were remembered. Schaefer described his stories as art. However, many saw them as fictionalized descriptions of actual crimes he had committed. In addition to his tales of sexual assault and murder, there were stories that were evidently products of his demented imagination, including one about copulating with dead bodies recently killed in the electric chair. Not surprisingly, Schaefer was not a popular man among his fellow inmates. In 1995, prisoner Vincent Rivera, who was serving a life sentence for murder, rushed into Schaefer's cell and stabbed him in the throat and eyes, killing him. Very few mourned his passing. However, his fiction continues to have a cult following to this day. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment who you think the next serial killer is going to be. And also remember to comment down below anything having to do with the video for a chance to be on a daily shout out. You can also follow me or reach out to me on Twitter, and I have a Twitch channel that I play some games on. Both will be linked in the description down below. Until next time, guys, sweet dreams.